All right, we are back. 2024 ahead of the Charles Day 2. I have a very special guest by the name of Kate Knifton. I'm so excited to see you and interview you and tell us about what's been going on.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Kate. I'm from Austin, Texas. I rode at Texas Rowing Center in high school and rode for the University of Texas for 5 years. And I recently competed in Paris for the women's straight four.
Did I was there. So proud of you. So you gave us a little bit about what you do in your role when you put at the Olympic Games. But I want to know a little bit more about Kate. Like what inspired you to want to row at the elite level? Because you started in high school
Yes.
and then continued on collegiately where you had a lot of success
Right.
and then on to the elite level. But what made you want to do that?
I think so. I always grew up around rowing. My dad, as you know, big rower. So he owns
Oh,
a club
yes.
that I rowed at in high school. And I had always been kind of like working around the dock. I had gone to see him race when I was growing up. But he always like really encouraged me to get into rowing. And I had always been really into dance. So I had never really considered rowing. And, you know, when you're like that age and when your parents are telling you to do anything, you're kind of like wanting to do the opposite. So anytime he
Yeah.
would tell me to row, I kind of was like, oh, I'm not going to row. But then one summer I got a job working at Texas Rowing Center. And that was when I kind of saw rowing from a different lens for the first time. And I saw
Yeah.
it like from people my age doing it rather than just watching my dad in the masters row. A little different. So that was when I first kind of realized that I wanted to give it a try. And then, yeah, I started joining the team then, and I loved it ever since.
Yes, because I remember when you were a junior, you have been a first in many things with TRC. I remember you were the first females on the junior side to win a medal at youth nationals in the pair, I believe it was.
Yes.
Yes, I
In the
remember
pair.
that because I almost got fired from my job because I was watching it
Oh.
on live stream,
Oh, no.
watching you race
Right.
with a young lady who was on the team. And we would
Yes,
sit there
Denise,
watching it.
yeah.
Yes, watching it live stream and cheering for you.
Yeah.
I want to know some of the highlights of your rowing career so far.
I would say definitely a big highlight was the first national championship that we won at Texas in 2021 that you were there for.
Yes, I was.
I mean, it was so much fun just like doing that with a group of people that you care so much about and you've experienced so many like highs, lows, all these emotions with throughout the year or multiple years was really special. And it just meant a lot to like my family, just my dad being such a rowing fan and from Austin, my grandfather who was able to watch it.
Yes.
It was a really special day. And then of course I think making the team this summer was really, really special. And getting choice in the A final was really, really exciting.
Ooh, that was so good. Yes. Going back to 2021, I remember being there with your dad and your grandfather. And after you all won, remember when it rained after you won?
Yeah.
It rained before, then it rained again.
Right.
We were all underneath the tent. And I don't know. I was looking and I was standing there with your grandfather and your dad. And the three of us just cried. Like, crying. And I remember
didn't know
my
that.
mom came over and it
Yeah.
was just, even now, it still kind of
Right.
gets me
Yeah,
because
I know,
it
me
was
too.
the first of it all.
Yeah.
And you know, your granddad was determined to be there.
Right. He
And,
was.
and
Yeah.
he I don't think he stayed much long
He
after
didn't.
that.
No. Yeah.
But he was there. And
He
you got to
was.
see
He was
it.
like getting wheeled around. He was.
Yes,
You
he
could tell it
was.
was like a challenge to
But
be
he
there.
was there for you. That
He was.
that always will stay with me. And then seeing you win a race at the Olympic Games when you rode through China in the rep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best. Because how many people
Right.
can say my child won or I won a race at the Olympic Games?
Right. And I think that's like a good perspective to have because it's obviously like everyone wants to win the final at the Olympics, but you know, it's like just being there, you have to like remember like how special it is just to be there and to have that opportunity. So
I've always wanted to ask you this. What were your thoughts as you were doing your warm up when you are paddling up and then when they have you put into the starting system and they tell you 2 minutes and they do the countdown? What are you thinking about? Because they had the camera focused on you. before the
I
start
know,
of the
and I
race.
couldn't tell if it was actually gonna go anywhere or if it was just there. So I'm like trying to like look kind of good sitting there. I'm like, oh god, I'm like probably sweating and like so nervous.
How was,
But
what were you thinking?
I think it was just kind of like once we got to the final, you don't really have much to lose. Like you just kind of go out there, you do your best, and if you do your best, you can't really be like. You can be disappointed in the result, but you can't be like upset because it's kind of just it is what it's going to be. And I think that that's kind of how I felt about the race. Like, it was like the best that we had as a group on that day, and so I was really proud of that we went and like we gave it our all. And
That's right.
like what else can you really do? So.
That's right. Well, I'm telling you, your dad was proud, Papa, as they say.
Oh,
The
that's
fact
great.
that you've been
Yeah.
there, you
Yeah.
had it mic'd up. I just remember, I always think back to 2018 November. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You're the reason that started me going to the NCAAs.
I know.
So
I
I came
remember
in
when you
19,
promised that you were
fell
going
in
to be
love with
there.
it. Yes, and I was addicted. After that, that was it. I
Yeah.
had to be at more of these. And
Right.
I remember saying your first NCAAs, your first Olympic Games, all those things. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad I was able to see that and to be an Olympian. Forever, you will have OLY behind your name. That's amazing. That's
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank
So
you.
outside of rowing, like, how do you make a living?
Yeah, so right now I've been working with Myro, which is a company. They just launched their product in July. It's a 22-inch tablet that connects with your existing Concept 2 machine, and it integrates with the PM5. And there's different workout classes that you can do, and I'm an instructor, so if you want to get me up on a screen and row with me, you can do that. And then you can also program in your own workouts. Anything you could do with a normal PM5, but also like on a bigger screen, more in-depth analytics, and just a lot more fun because you're doing it with the community, and especially with the video
Yeah,
classes.
you
So.
can say I trained and I'm coached by an Olympian. That makes it even more fun. So I want to know, what's the life of an elite athlete? If you're at the National Training Center, what does your day consist of?
Yeah, so I think like my year last year looked a little different than what I think it would look like going forward, just because it was the fourth year of the cycle, and coming straight out of college and not making the senior team that summer, I kind of knew that if I was going to make the team for the Olympics, it was going to take like me dedicating 100% of my life to it. And I don't think that that's necessarily sustainable for the next 4 years, which is why I'm going to kind of like adapt that a little bit. But for last year, it was kind of like eat, sleep, breathe, rowing, like recovery, doing everything I could physical therapy wise and like nutrition wise, and I kind of just any like extra time that I had, I was doing something towards that goal, or just sleeping, which was in a way towards the goal too. So right, exactly. So I think that was kind of what my life looked like the past year, and then going forward, I'll definitely be trying to work a little bit more at the beginning of the 4 years, just to have like a little bit of balance, and then each progressive year, I'll get closer and closer to what my year looked like last year.
So I take it the plan is 2028.
I think like it's so hard because you kind of have to, you don't know in rowing like what's going to happen and how it's going to be, but that would definitely be like a goal of mine, and I'll probably try to take it like 1 year at a time and just like set mini goals in the meantime, but that would be the eventual goal.
You know, a lot of people don't know how resilient you are. Some people don't know your story, your backstory about the injuries that you've had post-college and how close you came to hanging your rowing career up.
Yeah.
And not even going forward. Tell us a little bit about that, because I admire that. Tell about the injury that you had and what was going on and the time it took to recover.
Yeah, I had a disc herniation, which I know a lot of rowers struggle with, like back injuries, very common. And it was compressing the nerve in my left leg, so I was having a lot of like nerve symptoms, and it was kind of affecting like not only rowing but just like my day-to-day living was pretty difficult. And I got surgery in October 2022, or 2023, and then I'm like trying to remember.
I think it was 22.
Yeah, 22. It must have been 22.
The last NCAA.
Yeah, like I rode one season injured, and then I did summer rowing, and then came back and got the surgery. And that was definitely tough, not in only in the rowing sense, but just in like day to day. Like anyone who's been injured knows that it's just like when you can't do the thing that you love and it's just affecting your ability to do everything else, it's really hard to forget that you have this injury that's like controlling your life at the time. But I definitely think that it gave me a lot of perspective and like a greater appreciation for rowing when I was able to come back to it afterwards.
I'm so glad to hear you say that. So let's want to kind of skip ahead. The camaraderie that you had with your teammates. So let's specifically talk about 2024.
Yes.
The straight four. What kind of camaraderie did you have? Because if I'm seriously correct, there was a little bit of a long run connection in the straight four as well.
Yeah,
So
of course.
talk about it.
I think like what I really loved about all the girls in my boat was I kind of think that we all shared a similar mentality of like, okay, whatever situation we're in, whether it be like something that we know is going to be really challenging or not, it's just kind of like bring it on. Like we're put in whatever situation and it's like, okay, like let's make the most of this and let's do what we can. And everything doesn't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be like exactly maybe how we thought it was going to be, but like those are the type of people that I love rowing with because it's just like, you know that they're going to like give every situation they have their best. They like maintain level-headedness and like cool heads, and I think that was really awesome.
Because they exemplified that at one of the World Cups when you all took a bronze medal. Yeah, that was fantastic to see. I'm yelling at the computer like you can really hear me, but it was so great to see that. So, give an example of some of the teamwork that you've had that has culminated in success on the water at any level.
I think like one of the best examples of that was just like the team, the like atmosphere that I experienced at Texas. I think it was just really unique and like being with that group of people. Everyone was just so focused on one goal, and that sometimes that can make it almost like harder because you have this one goal and you kind of feel like you can't put so much of your life into it that you like lose who you are outside of the goal, or if it doesn't happen it like completely like shatters your like perception of yourself. But I think people did a really good job of staying focused on like themselves and then the team without like overthinking it, but also like focusing on this goal together. And I just kind of feel like the coaching staff did a really good job and the team really bought into this idea of like it's not about me, it's about the team. And I think that that's really hard to find, and especially it's really hard when like you're putting so much into something because it's like, well, it should be about me because I'm putting all this effort, I want it to work out for me. But like I can name so many examples of people just like sacrificing maybe like what they wanted at that time for the betterment of the team, and it just like people don't even put a second thought into it. It's just second nature to them because they care so much about the team and the other people on it.
So like a community effort.
Definitely, yeah.
And I love hearing that. So let me ask you this. If you could go back and talk to 17-year-old Kate, what would you say to her?
I think I would just say like to take things one step at a time. I think like that's what really helped me in the long run, but it's so easy to get ahead of yourself and like having these goals and like one little thing goes wrong and you kind of freak out and you're like, oh, how is this like gonna affect me in the long run, or like it's over, or this one little thing. But really just staying focused on like one step at a time. And if you just put your all into everything you do and you like be good teammates, then that's gonna pay off for you at the end.
If you could give advice to a young lady who is aspiring to be on the national team, what guidance and advice would you give her?
I would say like the most important thing for being on the national team is like be someone that people want to row with, and that's not just like your personality, like having people like you, like being a good teammate and like someone that other people are going to pull for is really important. And you do not have to be the best person on the team to like be the person everyone wants to row with. Like I think everyone knows that one person on their team that like maybe isn't the like strongest or the fastest, but like you would put them in your boat first over anyone else because they just have that like heart and like mentality, and they're just going to like spread that to the people around them.
And they're
So-
likable.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
it's easy to want to row with someone that's
Exactly. Yeah,
likable.
and you just like you're always gonna like if you're neck and neck with another boat and you know that person's in your boat, you're always gonna put a little extra because you're like, I want it for this person.
Right.
So
I love to hear you say that. I say that to people all the time. You can't be in a boat and row a pair with somebody you don't love.
right. It's true. And the like dynamics, it's like crazy how much it plays into it. And
Yes, you have to really get
yeah, it really separates, I think, especially at the top level, like one boat from another when everyone's training so hard and working hard and has the same like probably ability, but then at the end of the day, like one boat faster than another, and that's a big reason.
Well, it's funny you mentioned those rowing with those that you get along with. Talk about today. You had the alumni boat today.
Yes, I
So
did.
how did that go? How did it feel? Were you excited about it? Because I saw some of the ladies, and you had people who came. Lisa came back from
Yep,
Germany.
she did.
Oh, it was so great
Yeah,
to
it
see
was
them this
awesome.
morning. And so talk about that.
It was great. I mean, just seeing everyone like buy into it and be so excited to do it, and like people are presented with the opportunity to come row with their Texas teammates and just see everyone again, and they're like jumping at it and making all these sacrifices. Whether it's Lisa like coming across the world and like working that out to be able to be here, it just like means so much to know that people like want to be here and want to race with each other. And it's just so fun. Like the second we started rowing, it just feels like, you know, it feels like home. Like we're just like used to rowing with those people, and like,
Did
yeah.
you do
So
the
it's,
same speed order where you stroked of the 8 today?
I was, yeah.
All right, all right. So
Yeah.
how did you finish?
We finished second.
Okay. To give emphasis, Stanford.
It was a tight race. I'm like, oh,
But
get
you know
over
what?
it.
That's
But
good for the sport.
yeah,
Stanford and Texas have been going back and forth, and that is amazing what's happening in the revolution of women's sports
oh yeah, it's
overall.
awesome.
And I'm happy to see that. I'm so
Yeah.
so glad to see that camaraderie. Even though you're competitors, you still get along.
Right, and so
And
many of them are my teammates now, and
That's
they're
right.
great. And it's like you hate to row against them, but then when you get to row with them, you're really excited, and you're like, okay, I'm glad that you have this attitude that
That's
I've
right.
seen when I'm on the other
That's right.
side of the buoy
Yeah.
from you. So
Well, I am so elated that you came by, took the time to speak with us. And anything else on the horizon while here for the Charles, or you're done?
I'm done racing, so I'm gonna enjoy spending some time. Some of my friends, like I haven't seen in so long, are in Texas, and I'm just like so happy to be there here with them and get to see some of my other teammates from this summer.
Great
So
stuff. And so people want to meet and see you, because a lot of people, I've had teammates from Chinook say, oh, I have such a girl crush on Kate. I'm a fangirl on Kate. And so everyone's like, I want to meet Kate. So if they want to meet you and see you, could they come by your tent?
yes, they
And
could
so
come
you
to
give
the
us the
Myro
name of it?
tent. So I'm
Myro.
gonna be there tomorrow from noon to 4. I'd love to meet anyone, and I'd also love to come and show them the product, and
All
they can
right.
get a sneak peek of one of my classes.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming by. And
Awesome.
if you want to see Kate, better stop by the Myro tent.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for
You're
having
welcome.
me.
Thank you.